God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. You've got so many plants, and if any of you are gardeners, you realize that some plants, the really bright colored bloomers, they require a lot of sun. You can't put them in shade and expect them to bloom where they're planted. They're not going to just be grateful for the dirt and the sky, but they require a certain amount of light to prosper to their full ability. And that is why often Christians do not bloom where they're planted. There's a certain amount of light that we have to be exposed to on the daily path. You can say, well, this, on the 31st of this month, this area is saturated with sun the whole day. That plant will still not blossom. It will still not prosper. Those 4 leaves that you see on it will remain 4 leaves, and there's nothing you can do to change that. In the same way, let your light so shine that so others can see it, and so that they'll be able to see the good things, and it will bring glory to the Father. If you don't have enough light coming to you, you can't share light. So the light of God cannot be manufactured. It can't be made better. How much charge? If you think of it as the charge on your phone, and if every day you just only charge your phone for 15 minutes, how much of your powerful phone will work throughout the day? What if you charge it just 30 minutes? That powerful phone has all kinds of unique and important things it can do, but it can't really function to its fullness because there's not enough of a charge. In the same way that it takes plants, they'll say 6+ hours, right, for a plant. This plant needs full sun. And that's going to be your most prosperous bloomer. In the same way that it takes a certain amount of time in the light for that plant to prosper and be all that it can be, where it will grow 3 feet tall and have blooms all the way around it, it's going to require 6+ hours of sunlight per day. And in the same way that you're going to charge your phone because you're going to keep picking up and seeing how much charge do I have on it. Most of us won't walk out with 15 minutes of charge unless we're desperate. Because we know this, if I use any apps, if I use any of the extra stuff, it's going to be trouble. I better turn it on low battery. And that's how many Christians live their entire life. They're always on low battery. And you wonder why you are not prospering. You move from one side of the country to the other. You move from your mama's house to another house. It doesn't matter. You just don't feel like you're ever reaching your potential. I will tell you this. I'm a person that's naturally shy, and maybe I don't want to use this term, but it's a descriptive term, fearful to do things, okay? So it took me praying hours every day for a couple of years, praying that God would help me be all I can be, help me do what all I can do, to get past my first initial fear to go and take the test at GTCC and start my college degree. It took the Lord that. What if I would have never done that? Because those years, as much as they, dragged on other things, I've never felt that they were a waste. they felt like I was making progress and I was being graded on the progress that I made. And at the end of a semester, you had something to show. You have credits to show. This was how my time was spent, and now I have this now. It's a little reward. And these are the things that you in yourself on low battery may not ever prosper. And that person that God wrote in your book that your destiny could be, if you don't move deeper into the light and think of yourself as a cell phone, I'm being charged in the presence of the Lord. I'm standing in the sunlight, and I'm receiving the vitamins and the nourishment that I can receive. And through this process, see, the devil often told me while I was sitting there shaking because I shouldn't have drank that much coffee. You know, you get up, you drink all the coffee, and then you force yourself to pray. That was a little bit difficult. And sometimes my body would just be twitching because I wanted to get up and do something else so bad, but it was an act of discipline to say, you're going to sit right here. And you're going to pray whatever time I tell you you're going to pray. But through that process, I became someone that I always hoped for, but I didn't know if I ever had the gumption to even get it begun in my life. So sometimes when you have these dreams, and they could be dreams that God has foreordained from the beginning of the world for you to be, even if it's a person of law, even if it's a person of esteem in the community, it could feel like your dream, but many times when you're praying for God's will in your life, your dream is His will, because you hooking your dream to His will, it connects. And pretty soon you want it a little bit more, and you want it a little bit more. And it helps provide this thing. And as you move into His presence, He's the one responsible for turning you into someone that you wished you could have been. But without a full charge, you were never going to be. And God is light. In Him there is no darkness at all. You know, if we're going to bear fruit, God says, bear the fruits of the Spirit, but without a full dose of His presence, we don't carry the gifts of the Spirit. That comes from a blossoming plant. If your tree is not giving fruit, we start inspecting. What does it need? Miracle-Gro? What does it need? I've got it in the sun. What's happening here? So these are the things that you need to concentrate on. If I can't see my way from here to where I need to go, let me spend more time in the presence of the Lord. And the devil will tell you it's a horrible waste. He will tell you you should be out knocking doors if you want your church to grow. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm telling you that in His presence, people will come find you. In His presence, the things that you've believed were a part of your destiny or you just hoped for, they're actually found in Him by being in the light and becoming nourished, strong, strengthened in your innermost being. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And in that same way, let your light so shine. We're like sonar batteries. The presence of the Lord is what makes our light strong. You lay it in the sun, it gets stronger and stronger charge. That's what happens. The longer we spend time in the Lord, we get a stronger and stronger charge. And you know what? I spoke last week just quickly on when the Lord asked His disciples to pray. He'd probably asked them to pray many times, but this time He was kind of shocked at their lack of desire. And He comes to them the first time and says, this is not really the time to sleep. Like, I'm over here sweating and interceding. And if you ever hear someone interceding, a lot of times you'll feel the call of your spirit. You want to join in. Yield to that. Because the intercession of one, actually, if you help them intercede, you don't know when the Lord's going to help you when you're needing intercession. And so he comes back to check. Now, the only time you come to check on something is like a teenager. Clean your room. And then you come back in 15 minutes to see if any progress is being done. So he bothers to get up from his intercession to go check. I'm going to go check on them right now. And he walks up and he's disappointed. Can you not pray with me even 1 hour? Like that's 101. Prayer 101. Can you not even pray with me 1 hour? And then he goes back to pray again. And he, just like you check your teenager's room, come back the second time. Can you not even pray with me 1 hour? This is the disappointment that you feel as a parent when you're constantly just having to, they're forcing you to become a nagger, and it's not your disposition. A person with the disposition to nag, they have no problem. But the one that doesn't, it's very annoying to constantly have to say, that's not done, do this, do that, and then come back and check. And this is what I want to tell you today. To linger in the presence of the Lord on the body can feel like misery until you do it. It can feel like the devil will constantly tell you, you should be doing your laundry. You should be running and getting the tools for what the project tomorrow. You should, and you literally may just start trembling with all the stuff he's reminding you, but it's an act of understanding of spirit. To say, sit there and shiver and shake because you've got to spend time in the presence. I've done things in my life I never thought I would ever do, this being one of them, because time was spent in the presence. And the things I've daydreamed about, he helped me to just move into them, and I don't even know how it happened, some of them. It was just like, how did I change so quick? It was him. Piece by piece, moving me into place and me feeling like nothing was happening. I can't tell you how many times the devil said, you're just staring at a wall, talking. And sometimes it even felt like that. And then I would say, but I know you're here. I feel you. I feel you're here. And I'm not getting up until I leave with what I came for. Walk in the light, saints of God. Walk in the light.